Unfortunately, the war between Ray Fisher and Warner Brothers is still going on, but we knew that, right? The studio has released, they haven't released a statement, but they've been speaking to a journalist, Umberto Gonzalez from The Wrap, about the situation. I'll get into more about what I think of all this in the bigger picture, but let's get into the article. The headline is Justice League star Ray Fisher went on Twitter attack after getting cameo offer in The Flash. Justice League star Ray Fisher went on his Twitter attack against director Joss Whedon in June after he was offered a small cameo role in the upcoming DC Comics movie The Flash. The film, which is aiming to begin production next year with Ezra Miller as the title character and Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck both returning as versions of Batman, is said to include a small role for Fisher as the genetically enhanced superhero cyborg. Now, if you're a Ray Fisher fan, I do think there is a silver lining here, and that the way this is being reported, it is still possible for him to be in the Flash movie in spite of him fighting with Warner Brothers. I would have thought that they might fire him given the fact that he's putting people on blast on like Twitter and Instagram, but it makes it sound like here they're willing to continue with him being a part of the DCEU. Granted, in a more limited capacity than all the other members of the Justice League, right? I mean, everyone has noticed that Cyborg hasn't gotten the attention that every other member of the team has. He's the only character who's not getting his own movie. They say he's supposed to get one, but there's been no movement on him. But there is still a chance, according to this, for him to continue, at least in a small capacity. But let's keep going on. According to two insiders with knowledge of the situation, Warner Brothers has not heard back from Fisher's team since offering him the small role back in June, and plans for a standalone Cyborg movie have stalled. Development on that project, which was at one time slated to hit theaters in 2020, was paused toward the end of 2016, according to one insider. Now, I've heard that Fisher said I admit I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard that he said in one of his Twitch streams or either in one of his Instagram stories that he was currently in negotiations, like right now, with Warner Brothers for his Flash role, which sort of jives with this and doesn't, because the subhead of the article says the studio hasn't heard back from Ray Fisher's team in months. So, the way this article with Warner Brothers sources is making it seem is that Fisher is not cooperating with these negotiations because he's not getting back to people. But if you were to talk to Fisher or go to Fisher's social media, he's making it sound like he's currently in negotiations. So I guess that's neither one of them is lying, but he kind of is making it seem like he's currently talking to them, but this article is making it seem like he hasn't talked to them in a long time. A rep for Fisher sidestepped multiple questions about the Flash offer in terms of timing, size, and the state of negotiations. Quote, Mr. Fisher is and has been under contract with Warner Brothers Pictures since 2014, Fisher's team at Paradigm Agency and Management 360 said in a statement. Quote, per the terms of that pre-negotiated contract, the option to include Mr. Fisher as the character of Victor Stone, aka Cyborg, has always rested in the hands in Warner Brothers Pictures. End quote. Actors cast in superhero roles typically sign on for multiple films and have option clauses to cameo in other superhero movies. Warner Brothers declined to comment for this story. But the way this is written, it seems like Warner Brothers people are the sources for where this article is getting its information. On June 29th, shortly after the cameo offer, Fisher launched the first of a series of attacks on Joss Whedon, who stepped in for initial Justice League director Zack Snyder on significant reshoots, and then on Warner Brothers for his handling of the 2017 film. First, the actor tweeted that he wanted to forcefully retract describing Joss Whedon as a good guy during 2017 Comic-Con. Then in July, Fisher publicly accused Whedon of unspecified gross, abusive, unprofessional behavior on set, and further said that it was enabled by then DC Entertainment President Jeff Johns and former Warner Brothers co-president of production John Berg. All three denied the accusations. Johns and Berg left the studio since the film was released in 2017. Warner Brothers launched an independent investigation in mid-August, a move that Fisher initially celebrated. But on September 4th, Fisher accused DC Films president Walter Hamada of attempting to interfere with the investigation on Johns' behalf. The studio denied the accusation and said Fisher never accused anyone of actionable conduct, and that the actor has refused to cooperate with the investigator during a meeting in late August. Fisher then publicly questioned the independence of the investigation, which was led by an outside firm hired by studio parent company Warner Media. The dispute has continued even after Warner Bros. Agreed to release original Justice League director Zack Snyder's version of the film as a 4-part miniseries on HBO Max next fall. On Monday, co-star Jason Momoa publicly backed Fisher's accusation about the "essy way we were treated on Justice League reshoots." The last 2 paragraphs of this article I don't think are important. I'm sure Fisher is going to clap back because the writer of this article, Umberto Gonzalez, he even tagged Fisher when he tweeted this post out on Twitter. And, Ray Fisher's not one to keep quiet about stuff like this. So I'm sure he'll make a response. I don't know if he's going to make that response in the time of me making this video, though. Update. Ray Fisher has responded to this article as I expected he would. Basically to trash it, say it's a bad article. And I'm not going to read his tweet because it's not that long. And he just basically just says it's a horrible article. Whether that article is horrible or not, I'll leave that up to you to decide. But because he was tagged in that article when it was posted on Twitter, well, he was tagged in a tweet about the article, not in the article itself, by the writer Umberto Gonzalez. Apparently, all these Ray Fisher stans and Snyder Cut fans and stuff are trashing the article on Twitter, I assume. So that's the clapback, so to speak. But I do think that if you're writing an article and it's going to present someone in a negative light, to tag that person in your tweet about that article is a little bit extreme. I wouldn't have tagged Ray Fisher in a tweet about an article that kind of implies, that casts him negatively, because I just think that's excessively confrontational. So I would not have done that if I were the person who wrote that article, but, Umberto Gonzalez did do that. And, he probably doesn't care. I know who he is. He's someone who's been online a long time, and he knows what it's like to be the target of Twitter mobs, so I'm sure he can take it. He knew what was going to happen when he posted that. But anyways, back to the rest of this video. But it does seem like the thrust of this article is to frame Ray Fisher as difficult or just being weird in his negotiations with Warner Brothers. And they just mention the fact that they make it seem like he just wants a bigger role in the franchise. They aren't really commenting on they aren't saying that his claims about abuse, they're not making it sound like they are legitimate. Now, whether they're legitimate or not, I don't know. This could be the studio, again, trying to cover its butt. But there are 2 sides to every story. Ray Fisher's allowed to say stuff, but, Warner Brothers is allowed to respond too. So it's also interesting to note that the main person that they seem to be talking about here is Ray Fisher. They mention a little bit about Jason Momoa, but they don't really talk too much about him or framing him as being a problem. Reading between the lines, it's because Jason Momoa is more important to Warner Brothers than Ray Fisher. Unfortunately, he's the star of a $1 billion earning movie Aquaman and a huge franchise. They're going to think twice before they try to smear Jason Momoa. We'll see, though. If Jason Momoa continues to say more stuff to back up Ray Fisher, or if other members of the Justice League, who are also valuable like Jason Momoa is, continue to back him up too, what Warner Brothers' response is. They could just continue attacking Fisher. Now, I could be being too strong on my verbiage. If it doesn't sound like an attack to you, my apologies, but this article and its timing does seem like it's responding to him and trying to make him seem like a problem. He hasn't gotten back to us in months. We offered him a cameo role in The Flash, but he's upset because it's not bigger. They did that last part, that's me, that's not them, but that's kind of what they're implying here. So we'll see. Like I said, this is not over. Ray Fisher does not like to keep quiet about stuff like this. So we'll see what the result of this back and forth is. I don't think that, anybody's going to stop talking about this until Ray Fisher stops talking about it. And he's probably not going to stop talking about it until this investigation is over with. So who knows when that's going to happen. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. because I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.